All right, HTV boxing fans. Today we're just gonna do a quick live video on the WBC mandatories that just came up yesterday. There was a lot of mandatories, and as boxing fans, we want to discuss it. We want to talk about it. Of course, I can't do this alone. So I have somebody who will be joining me, and we'll go through some of the list, some of the popular ones, the head turning matchups that the WBC ordered, and then also some not so popular ones. But we love boxing, so we're going to do it all. But like I said, I'm going to bring on somebody to help me. Med Sports. So Med Sports
Hello,
is
Doc.
on with me today. Hey, how you doing, man?
Thank you, Doc.
All right. So, as you saw yesterday, a lot of orders came out from the WBC. Several mandatories that they ordered.
Hello, Doc.
I
Hello,
can hear.
Doc.
Can you hear me?
The y- uh,
I can hear you. If you can hear me. All right. I will bring you back once you come on. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now loud and clear.
All right. So the orders came through. Some were head turning, some were not, but all the same. We're going to take them one by one and see how we do it. Um, the first one, by the way, when you heard about this, all these mandatories, what did you think? What was your initial reaction?
Um, it was good for the sports, giving people the opportunity to fight for the title. But what I noticed was that most of the people that were ordered were most of them were former world champions. So it did not come to me as a surprise. Keith Man, Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, Shakur Stevenson versus Isaac Cruz. All these guys, Sebastian Sebastian versus Tony Harrison. These guys
Mm-hmm.
are former world elite champions, and they were just giving them a title shot because they already have the name. So
All right. So I mean, some were definitely head turning. Others were not so much. So
yeah.
I mean, some were what I'm gonna do is the first one that we won't spend a lot of time on is the junior welterweight division, which Jose Zapada and former title holder Regis Progress. They are supposed to meet on the 26th for the vacant title that was relinquished by Josh Taylor. And then the winner of that fight would then have to fight Jose Ramirez for his mandatory defense. What did you think when you saw that pair up? Zepeda just won recently, and now if he should beat Progress, he gets to fight Jose Ramirez. What was your thought on that quickly?
It was. I think it's a very good fight. Progray lost his title in a very difficult fight, so I think it's a very good fight because Progray lost his title to Josh Taylor, which made Josh Taylor a unified champion. Then he went ahead and faced Jose Ramirez. So Progray is coming from like he needed a rematch, but Josh Taylor never gave him a rematch and went ahead and fought Jose Ramirez. So I think it's a good chance for him, and it's a very good fight because these two guys are hungry and they've been yearning for a world title for a while now. So they'll they'll put up a great display of skill.
I can agree with you more. Jose Zepeda seems to be on fire and has his eyes on a world title. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out as the winner, essentially, and gets to fight Ramirez. So
But
that
I'm
was
tipping Progress for the fight because I think Progress is a more skilled fighter and he has the heart.
when it gets to fight week on that, I will bring you on and we can discuss that. Now, the first big one that I want us to discuss is the super middleweight bout between David Benavides and Caleb Plant. We sort of heard this already because both fighters had announced it on their social media, so we weren't surprised about that. But then the winner gets to be the BBC mandatory challenger for Canelo Alvarez. First, what did you think? What do you think about this order? And then I'll ask you other questions about that. I'll tell you what I think, but I want to hear what you think. Are you with me? Della, are you with me? Okay, I'll bring Della back when his thing comes up. But basically, for me personally, when I saw Benavides and Caleb Plant, I was very happy. And then I think we got Della back. Della, what did you think about the Benavides and Plant mashup? We seems to be having some technical difficulty there. But yeah, I am tipping one of them to win. I will save that for March when the fight actually happens. But this is a good one. This is a good matchup. This is what the boxing needs. Benavides and Plant. Plant has been knocking on a world title. Are you with me now, David Dela? Are you with me? I think we are still having technical challenges on the left side. But yeah, so I'm thinking that this is going to be good. I can't wait for it personally in March. Yeah, I keep asking myself, Dela, are you with me now? I can't hear you. Yeah, speak. Okay, I will check my end, but I still can't hear you. So I was like I was saying, whether the fight between whoever wins that and Alvarez is going to come up, that's a discussion. I really wanted to hear the less views, but it seems like he's having technical challenges on that one. The next one I wanted to move into was the junior middleweight. Let me see if I can get him again. Can you hear me, Dela? But I can't hear you. Give me a second. So let me, guys, give me 1 second. The life you can hear me, can you get out and come back from the link? All right, so let's go to the junior middleweight with the interim title holder Sebastian Fundora and the former titleist Tony Harrison. They have been ordered to meet in a final elimination bout. And they seem to be going to work on that. And then the winner will be the mandatory challenger of the winner of the fight between Jamel Charlo and Tim Tszyu. Again, I think that is going to be an interesting fight. Fondora recently has shown that he has arrived, so I'll be expecting him to definitely beat Tony Harrison hands down. I was impressed in his recent fight regarding Fondora. In his the first couple of rounds, I wasn't impressed, but as the rounds went later, he showed that he was a force and he won. He won convincingly, so I think he's definitely going to beat Harrison. But we'll talk more about that during fight week. Now, Jamel Charlo and Tim Tszyu, it's where I think he's really got to prove himself, because both of these fighters are very strong fighters. They've been in the game for a while. They know what they are doing. But that'll be an exciting one. So I am excited for this particular matchup as well, and hopefully it materializes. Now then, let's go to the other one. Well, I will save the welterweight one because that's the biggest one for later. The WBC also ordered some lightweight mandatories. Devin Haney, who just beat George Kambosos, has been ordered to face the mandatory challenger and former titleist Vasily Lomachenko of Ukraine. Which I think is a fight from the Lomachenko's last fight when Haney jumped in there. It seems like they both want to make it happen. So it's one fight I think is going to happen. They're going to agree, and it's going to happen. And then so I think that is going to happen. Top rank seems to be in it, and he's going to do it. Let me see if we can get Dela on. Hey, Dela, can you hear me now?
Yeah, dog.
Yeah. So now I can hear you. So let me take you back quickly. What do you think about the Sebastian Fondora and Tony Harrison matchup?
Fedora versus
Tony Harrison.
Tony Harrison. Tony Harrison
Yes.
is a former world champion who beat Jamel Charlo, but lost the fight after the death of I think was his father. I'm not too sure if his father was alive for the rematch, but Tony Harrison, I'm not so convinced when he became a world champion. He lost the title so easily. He was knocked out in the 8th or 9th round by Charlo, and Figueroa's looking at his recent form, his last fight, I think he would be a problem for anybody in the division. So I'm going for Figueroa to win the fight.
And then he gets to fight Charlo or Tim Tszyu. I think that is definitely going to be a tough one for him, regardless of whoever wins between those two.
I barely heard you.
I said he's going to have to fight Charlo or Tim Tszyu, and I think any of them will be a tough one for Fondora. All right, seems to still having some technical difficulties. I'll bring him back when he gets on. So I was talking about the lightweight division with Haney and Lomachenko. I think that one is definitely going to materialize before the order. Both fighters seem to be fighting, wanting to fight. So I think that should definitely happen. And then the former junior lightweight, Shakur Stevenson and Isaac Cruz, Pitbull, have both been ordered to meet in a final eliminator to become the mandatory challenger of whoever wins between Haney and Lomachenko. I think this division is exciting. However, I doubt if that fight is going to happen. I don't think Cruz is going to fight Stevenson. So I doubt if that will happen. And they have different promoters and different broadcasters. So I think they're going to have a hard time making a deal. So I doubt if that fight will happen. But that would have been interested for the lightweight division. I really like Cruz, and I've always wanted him to get a chance. And I hope this is it. Dela, you back? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm back. I can hear you loud and clear.
All right, now I think we got you very well. I was talking about the light.
Come again?
I was talking about the lightweight division with Lomachenko and Haney that have been ordered.
Lomachenko and Henny is a very interesting fight. I think both these guys have been at each other for a while now. Devin Henny wanted to fight Vasily Lomachenko after he fought Campbell, but Lomachenko asked at that time different routes and went ahead and fought Teofimo Lopez. So I think this fight has been brewing for a very long time. Vasily Lomachenko did not look fantastic in his last fight, and a lot of people are worried: is it ring rust or age has caught up with him? Though Vasily Lomachenko is not a very experienced, or he doesn't have so much so much professional bouts. He has a lot of amateur bouts, so the wear and tear may have gotten to him now. But with Henny, David Henny has just about 29 fights or 30 fights as a professional, and he's also a good amateur. He fought the likes of Ryan Garcia during their amateur days. So I think it's a good fight, both with boxing skill, but you are only as good as your last fight. So for now, you would say Devin Haney is the favorite to win because Devin Haney put in a dominant performance, a very dominant performance against George Cambosos in Australia. But and he did same in the first fight to become undisputed. But if it's ring rust, then uh, if it happens to be ring rust and not age that has caught up with Vasily Lomachenko, then Devin Haney needs to be on the lookout because the performance Devin Haney put against my fellow countryman Vasily Lomachenko put up against my fellow countryman Richard Coming. It was very impressive. So if he can wind back the clock and put up that same performance, he has also shown that he is a very skilled boxer, and it is going to be a very long night when this fight is officially made. So this fight,
Do you think?
Devin Haney is looking like the favorite right now, but you can never count a three-division world champion who is Vasily Lomachenko, a two-time Olympic gold medalist, and he is facing an undisputed lightweight. But before I end, I don't know if you noticed, but
Mhm.
Devin Haney, his last fight, he looked like a zombie. I think making weight is getting to him. So if this fight is not made by the first quarter of
Mhm.
next year and it goes, let's say, June, July, I think Devin Haney will struggle to make weight and that might have a toll on his body.
Do you think this fight is going to happen?
Come again?
Do you think the fight is going to happen?
I barely heard you.
Do you think the fight is going to happen? Do you think the fight is going to happen?
The fight is going to happen because Devin Haney has stated that he and his father have thrown a challenge to Paulie Manalaji that they are going to take the fight and they have asked Paulie Manalaji to bet. And the Magic Man has refused to bet. And the Magic Man is saying that he would only bet if the Henny family states categorically that they are going to beat Vasily Lomachenko, which they have also said they are not going to bet on that, but they want to bet that they will take the fight. So I think Devin Haney, I don't think he's afraid of Vasily Lomachenko because Devin Haney, let's be frank, he doesn't have too many elite boxers on his record. The elite boxers he has on his record were all past their prime. Uh, that is the former opponent of Vasily Lomachenko, the Colombian. I've forgotten his name just at the moment. And Javier Fortuna, all these guys were way past their prime when he faced them. So Vasily Lomachenko, as the person who seems to be in his prime, yes, he is undisputed, but who did he beat to become undisputed? He beat George Kambosos. George Kambosos was no name or does not carry much weight, just that he won the undisputed against Teofimo Lopez, which a lot of people regarded as an upset. But if you look at George Kambosos' record, Selby even the Selby fight was a very controversial win for him. So I don't think George Kambosos is up there for you to boast that you have beaten. Yes, he became an undisputed champion. It was a one fight, and anybody determined on a particular night can win a fight. But George Kambosos is not the elite of the elite. He may be a former undisputed world champion, but let's call the spade and not a digging to George Kambosos is not an elite boxer.
Wow. You had a lot to say there. For the sake of time, let's move on. So, what is going to happen in the division is that if the Shakur Stevenson has also been ordered to fight Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and in an eliminator, and then whoever wins becomes the mandatory challenger. What I was saying earlier is that it doesn't look like that would happen for several reasons. That fight between Stevenson and Cruz will happen because different promoters, different broadcasters. Do you feel the same way?
If I was Shakur Stevenson, I wouldn't take that fight because Isaac Cruz is a very good fighter. He is a come forward fighter. He is a typical what we call the Mexican style of boxing. He is a pressure fighter. And fighting Isaac Cruz as your first opponent at a division is a tricky one. Because Isaac Cruz is no pushover. So he coming to a new weight and fighting Isaac Cruz is quite not, to in my humble opinion, not the right thing to do, because he has been guaranteed the Vasily Lomachenko fight. And though fighting Isaac Cruz may lead him to a world title, he wouldn't make much money like fighting Vasily Lomachenko after the Devin Haney fight, which Bob Aram stated on Boxing Social that after Vasily Lomachenko faces Devin Haney, the winner would face Shakur Stevenson.
I think you have a point. You have a point there. It doesn't make
Isaac Cruz. So if I was hello.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm saying that you have a point there. I don't think it makes business sense for that fight to happen. It's
It
dangerous.
doesn't make business sense.
Yes. All right. So let's move on for the sake of time. We have in the bantamweight division, pound for pound fighter Inoue Naira Inoue is supposed to fight
Paul Butler.
Paul Badler. Yeah. And that fight after that they will then order the now this is what I have a problem with. They're gonna order the former titleists Nonito Donaire and JC Maloney to fight for the vacant title once that happens. I don't know why Nonito Donaire is still in the conversation at this stage. Looking at how he fought the last time. What do you think about that possibility?
I think the Japanese monster is favorite in the division. The only way he would lose a fight is when he moves up, and now people could take his punch, and because he is naturally the smaller guy and can't take their punches, because he is super talented. Top pound for pound. You'd have him 1, 2, 3. You may have Usyk, Crawford, Inoue, three guys. Any of them could be your number one pound for pound guys. So I think the Japanese would. It wouldn't be a pushover. Paul Butler. I don't know if you remember, but Paul Butler dogged Ghana's own Joseph Agbeko at age 41. So
Yep.
you can never tell.
Yep. But for some reason, I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I feel like Donaire is done. So that order to fight Maloney is some way to me. But hey, I guess he's ranked up there, then that's what happens, right? Are you with me?
I'm with
Can you?
you.
Okay. All right. We're gonna go to our last one pretty soon, which is the talk of town. So they ordered in the waterway division. They ordered Errol Spence Jr. to fight Keith Thurman. They ordered Spence to fight Keith Thurman, and that is because the Crawford fight fell through. What do you think about that one? Can you hear me, Della? All right, I think I lost Della again. So this the biggest one on the list of the mandatories is the welterweight division. As everybody knows, Crawford was supposed to fight Spence, and that didn't happen. Now Spence is supposed to fight his one-time sparring partner Keith Thurman, from what I hear, and there's a lot of talk about that. Of course, it seems like it's going to be a walk in the park for Spence. Looks like it's going to be a walk in the park for Spence. Okay, I got the lab back. I'm talking about Spence and Keith
Yeah.
Thurman. It looked like it's going to be a walk in the park for Spence. I don't know why this happened, but we all know why it happened. Now, the question is, do you think this Spence and Thurman is going to happen, Della?
I think the fight would happen because it's an in-house fight. Both guys are promoted by PBC and they are advised by Almighty Al Heyman. So the fight would happen. It would be an in-house fight. It would be used to build up the Spence profile for the Crawford fight. I think it's an easy. What Floyd says, easy work. It's work for Errol Spence Jr. because Keith Thurman has not fought more than 3 times in about 4 years, and that is not good. Or even in about 5 years, he hasn't fought more than 3 times.
What if
Nito Lopez,
in the unlikely situation that Thurman catches him with a hook and he's not able to get up? What does this mean for boxing?
come again.
What if in the unlikely situation that Thurman catches Spence with a hook and he doesn't get up again? What happens with boxing right in that division?
If I heard you correctly, you wanted to say if this fight, how is this fight good for boxing?
And I said if Keith Thurman catches Spence with a left hook by accident and Spence is not able to get up and Thurman wins, what does this mean for boxing? If Thurman
I
if
barely
Thurman
heard you.
if Thurman wins,
Barely
I'm
heard you.
saying
I'll try and
if Thurman wins, what happens?
if Thurman wins, what happens?
Yes, with this division.
Okay, if Thurman wins, that is going to put the division on hold because I think Errol Spence would want to have a rematch. I think Errol Spence would want to have a rematch to uh, to fight Keith Thurman, and that would put the undisputed on hold, and I wouldn't want Thurman to win because it would distort. I want to see Errol Spence versus Buck Crawford. It's going to be a very good fight. Bucky Thurman, he is good, but his inactivity has caused him his position at the top. That is it. That is it. After the Errol Spence fight, he should go and fight the likes of Booth Ennis, Virgil Ortiz. Oh, I almost mentioned Kenan Ben.
Well, well, I think we're gonna end here. So these were just a few of the mandatories and challenges that were put together. I had the law of med sports join me. I think the biggest fight on this, and I believe the law will agree, is the Thurman and Spence one. Even though it's not the most exciting, we are talking about Plant versus Benavides and all the other ones that Haney and Lomachenko. But this one, I think, has the most. It's more consequential. Should an accident happen and or something happen, I mean, if you look at the stats, Spence should win hands down, but anything can happen in boxing. He can be caught by accident, and that will be the most consequential. And of course, the Crawford and Spence is still hanging in the air as of now. Looks like it's off the table, but it's still hanging in the air. So that's where the problem is going to be. But hopefully, Spence wins, the division stays it is, and we get to see Crawford and Spence. The last before we go in the last minute words on these mandatories handed down by the WBC.
Okay. The last, you want my last words on all the mandatories?
Yes, yes, yes.
I think it has been it has been a good conference for boxing. A lot of things were trashed out. One thing we did not talk about was the Conor Ben being taken off the WBC rankings, and I think that is good. It was long overdue, but I think everything it's a process. It's better late than never. Then another thing is it's just unfortunate that um, the Ghana Boxing Authority could not have been to the WBO and be to the WBC. But I think next time they should be there to lobby for more Ghanaians or Africans to have the opportunity to fight for the WBC title. I don't remember the last time an African fought for the WBC title apart from the Congolese Junior Maldo at cruiserweight. He is the only African champion I can remember now. A lot of Africans are not getting the opportunity. So I think it's time that the WBC give African fighters opportunity. There are a lot of things or lot of hindrances that an African fighter faces. Unlike the Europeans, I know they also struggle a lot, but with Africa, the logistics, everything, right from start to finish, mentorship and all those things are a very big challenge in Africa. So if an African fighter shows signs of being at the top, I think the likes of the WBC should consider and give that fighter an opportunity to compete for a world title, because Africa just has one world champion as at now.
Thank you for your last words. Thanks for joining me. We'll do this again later, and that's the law of med sports. Now, my last few words. All right, so these were the mandatories from yesterday. They were somewhat exciting to look at. Some of the fights I doubt will happen, but others definitely will happen because they both agreed on, and we are here for it. It's boxing. This is what we do. We love the sport. So please join us as we go through all these mandatories, and hopefully they make some good fights. Again, this is the Boxing Doc on Ace TV, and my co-host was the law of med sports. Thanks for staying with us, and catch you next time.